Hey guys, Ethan Tripodi here again, and welcome to video 2 of this 5-part series where we are seeing what is lost in translation as we read the Bible. In this video, we're going to be seeing how God's Word, or the original Greek and Hebrew, actually prompts its readers to see certain verbs and certain actions in a very specific way. We're referring to these as picture prompts, as they prompt you to picture the action. And we want to be able to see this when we read. We referred to in video 1, as we were introducing these concepts, we referred to the Hebrew hafil, the Greek present imperative, the Greek aorist imperative, and all these things and many more enable us to actually see what the Bible is saying. It gets us to conceptually visualize it so that we can have a better understanding of what's going on in the Bible verse. And so the way this session is going to go, we're going to start off with examples, well, actually one mainly, and then we're going to see how it's prompting us. We're not going to get straight into doing it because we want you guys to have the confidence that you know why something's there, and rather than just taking our word for it, you can actually have a better understanding of how Greek and Hebrew do this. And then we're going to look at what we're actually meant to see, or what the picture prompt is actually doing as we read. Before getting into that, though, I want to address a possible misunderstanding, or some possible misunderstandings, because much of what we're going through here could be quite new to people, especially depending on if you've been to seminary or if you've been to Bible college or not. Having if you've looked into the original languages or studied Greek and Hebrew before, these things are going to be a lot more familiar to people. But if you haven't, since Greek and Hebrew are very different languages to English, the concepts and the way it communicates can be quite different. So I want to give you guys the confidence that it's not, this isn't just something we've come up with. This is something established outside of the Discovery Bible and the other resources we'll be using. So I mentioned the Discovery Bible, one of the main tools we'll be using in this series. We're also going to be using Bible Hub later on. And to give you guys that confidence, I wanted to just bring up a few of the Discovery Bible's endorsements. We have Dr. Grant Osborne here. Before reading it, though, all of these guys did give wonderful big endorsements. They're good friends of the ministry as they helped on certain things, and but I've only taken out snippets of their endorsements, and but you can see them on our website. Like Dr. Grant Osborne, former professor of New Testament at TEDS, or Trinity Evangelical Divinity School, says, "I recommend it for pastors," referring to the Discovery Bible, "and for those without training, as it makes observations from Hebrew and Greek texts very understandable." So he's highlighting that, if you haven't had training, if you haven't been able to see these things before, this is one way we can get them out of it. Dr. Eugene Merrill, I'll just move my face. Dr. Eugene Merrill, another good friend, former professor of Old Testament at DTS, Dallas Theological Seminary, he says, "I have looked through the helps markings on the Discovery Bible Old Testament," and if you haven't used the Discovery Bible yet, we'll get into what those markings are. And he finds them fully reliable. They ingeniously lead out the fuller Hebrew meanings of vocabulary, near synonyms, verbs, and emphasis shown by the original word order. Excuse me. This endorsement is very helpful because if you had to pick either Greek or Hebrew being more commonly understood, I think it would be Greek. It being a more similar language to English and also being the New Testament, a lot more people have studied Greek, it seems, other than compared to the amount of people that have studied Hebrew. And so when we come to the Hebrew language, or the Hebrew picture prompts, you're going to see, different ways how we're going to be interpreting these verses as a result. And having an endorsement like this can really help you have the confidence that you're applying it and doing it in the right way. And one last endorsement as well, Dr. Walter Kaiser Jr. Just trying to move my head again here. former president of Gordon Conwell Theological Seminary. And he says simply the Hebrew and Greek principles followed in the Discovery Bible are accurate, trustworthy, and I'm sure he went on there, and wonderful, and a wonderful help to all Bible readers, starting with those not having the advantage of a seminary education. So all of these guys are kind of aware that people, unless they've been trained, taken the courses, spent the time, spent the money, these things are often going to be foreign to people. But the point of this series is not making them foreign. We don't want you to have to spend all the time and money going to seminary, but still get the benefit of what that training would give you. What I hope you see now is that this is not a new approach to Bible reading. In fact, all it really is learning to see what was always there. Premise of this is we're seeing what's lost in translation, so it's always been there. When we translate to English, some of the nuances which we covered in video 1 are lost, but we want them to impact our reading as it would have impacted those who read the Greek and read the Hebrew back when it was written. So for our examples, one example actually, make sure you've downloaded the Discovery Bible. You can follow me along in it. I'm going to be staying in the slideshow though. You should be able to download the free trial somewhere around this video. And our example is going to be Ephesians 5:17. One quick note, I don't generally recommend just reading one verse, but we're not actually interpreting the verse per se. We're just seeing how there's more to this verse than the English translation lets on. And so that's why we're just looking at one verse. And it says, so then, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. There are two picture prompts in this verse. The first is on the word be, which is a verb, do not be foolish. And the second is on the word understand. Before telling you, well, I'll tell you which picture prompt it is. The be is a negated present imperative, and the second one, understand, is a present imperative. We'll get into what those terms mean and how they impact you in your reading. But first I want to go into how we know there's a picture prompt in this case. And so here's Ephesians 5:17 in the Greek. I can't read that, but I've highlighted the words. You don't need to have any background in Greek or Hebrew to understand this series. This is just giving you guys some visuals so you can hopefully understand it better. So I've highlighted the word be first up and the word understand next in the verse. And I want to show you how that picture prompt comes to be. So we've got the word be or become and the word understand. The reason I put the word become there is because there's a word for being in Greek and then there's a word for becoming, and the word for becoming is actually used here. That's why it's really important for you guys to watch video 3, where we are looking at word meanings and how they impact our reading. So the normal form, also referred to as a lemma, if you would like to know the technical term, is seen here. That's how it normally looks in Greek, the normal form, and the normal form to understand as well. But then we want to look at it in Ephesians 5:17. And when you look at those words in the Greek in Ephesians 5:17, you're going to see it slightly differently. And just in case you don't need to know the letters, but I'll highlight it for you as well. You can see that they're the same word, but they've got a different ending. And English does this to some extent. We have words like run or running or ran. It changes the middle of the word. Greek does this as well, but we want to understand what it means when it changes the form of the word. So there you can see that that's how an original reader would be set off or able to see, oh, there's a different word being used here, and they'd apply the meaning that they're familiar with. But how do we see this without learning the Greek and without having to memorize all those different word endings? Well, we are going to get into that, but I want to show you one way people have been doing this for quite some time, and it's called using a parsed interlinear. This is basically a a Parsed Interlinear, we have one in the Discovery Bible, and there's also one available on BibleHub.com. We're going to use the one on Bible Hub. So this is Ephesians 5:17 in the Greek. And the reason it's a Parsed Interlinear is because it's got all those small blue letters, and it basically tells you the forms. You need a trained eye to be able to know how to apply those and know what each of them mean. But just so you're aware, the words we've been looking at are do not be foolish and the word understand. We'll zoom in on it. And so this is the Greek that we were looking at before. But if you see the two letters there, PM and PM, this is what someone who knows how to read or analyze a Parsed Interlinear, this is how they would see the picture prompt. And seeing those, they would be set off to, this is a present, that's what the P stands for, and then the M is imperative. And so they would be able to apply it. And the first one is a negated present imperative, actually, because of the word not. So, and we're going to get into that as well, but just explaining to you that this is how someone would see it. This is not something never heard of before. As you can see in the Bible Hub one, it's Bible Hub is one of the most widely used websites, Christian Bible websites, and it's got it right there for people who have the trained eye to be able to see. And so not only am I trying to give you guys a better understanding of how it happens, I also want you to have even more confidence that this is something that is not unheard of before. We're just making it accessible to you in a different way. So the Parsed Interlinear is one way people see what's lost in translation. So then we come to Ephesians 5:17, and instead of you having to learn what the original, how to read a Parsed Interlinear, if you're following along in the Discovery Bible, you'll see two different things about this verse. And you'll see two symbols. On the word be, there's one symbol, and on the word understand, there's another symbol. This is how we communicate to you that the first is a negated present imperative, and the second is a present imperative. When you click on it in the software, you'll be given the definition and be able to apply it. And so really what we've done is we've actually gone through the Parsed Interlinear, because another point I'll mention is it's actually not as simple as seeing the P and the M. There are sometimes exceptions with different picture prompts as well, and you need to know those exceptions so that you're not applying it at the wrong time. So the New Testament for the Discovery Bible was actually gone through by hand 7 times, and we'll go through this more in video 5. But 7 times by hand to actually put on the New American Standard Bible every time that there's a meaningful picture prompt to the reader. And when you click on it in the Discovery Bible, you'll be given a real easy to apply definition. The negated present imperative is a keep on refusing to do this. So it's not just not being foolish once, but it's something you continuously are trying to do. And then the Greek present imperative is similar, just not negated. But understand what the will of the Lord is. So the understanding is something we keep on doing. It becomes part of our lifestyle, and we keep looking for opportunities to understand. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later as well, but it's really important you guys watch video 3, because you will notice we're applying the picture prompts to these words. Do not be foolish and understand what the will of the Lord is. But in video 3, we're going to be looking at the meanings of words and how they don't necessarily translate perfectly into English. So if you're applying the picture prompt to the word do not be foolish, but you don't really know what the word foolish means, then it's not being applied in the best way possible. Same with the word understand. If you're applying a present imperative to understand, you keep on doing it. Well, do you know what the word understand really means? So video 3 is a crucial part to this video. In the Discovery Bible as well, we give you an expanded definition, lots of scripture examples, English examples, so that you guys have really everything you need so that when you see this symbol, you can apply it to the best of your ability. There are many more picture prompts in the Discovery Bible. This is just a brief introduction of showing you how they occur, and why they're important. But if you go to the link tdb.link/pp, pp for picture prompts, you'll be taken to a one-pager or a digital resource sheet where we introduce to you some more of the picture prompts found in the Discovery Bible. So whether you've got it or not, you'll be able to see these symbols. These are the helps markings referred to in some of the endorsements. And we even go through the interlinear bit, just something extra for you guys to go through, more examples so that you get used to this form of reading. And if you're using the Discovery Bible, you can click on the symbols and go see all the different kinds. I think this is all of them. It's at least most of them. But they've got the Hebrew ones here, we've got the Greek ones here, and all of them have a different meaning for you and your daily devotionals. And we really want this to be something that impacts, something that helps you achieve your goal of having a deeper Bible reading experience and knowing that it's accurate and having that confidence. As I mentioned, video 3 next up is devotional definitions and word studies. So make sure you come along, you watch that video. We'll be going through why the definitions are important. We talked a little bit about that already with, if you're going to apply the picture prompts properly to a verb, you need to know what that verb or that word really means. We'll also be talking about resources you can use, and two main layers actually of why certain resources should be used. We want it to be a correct definition, but also a practical one, and we'll get into what we mean by that. And thirdly, we'll give you 3 word studies to get you started. So just like in this video, we started off just with 2 symbols in Ephesians 5:17, I think, and then we gave you the one pager where there will be more word studies for you to look, more picture prompts for you to look through. We want to get you guys started, whether you're using the Discovery Bible or not, to actually start thinking about how much there is lost in translation and how much there is for you to apply and understand in your Bible reading. So thank you so much, guys, for watching video 2. I have really enjoyed this session, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.